Good morning, everyone. It is another Wednesday morning with a Rebel HR and another Ask Me Anything. I didn't send a post in advance, so hopefully people will see that I'm live and will join and ask some awesome questions. It is the last Wednesday of August. Can you people believe that? Can you believe it's almost September? I honestly feel like 2026 just started. I mean, it felt like yesterday that we were celebrating New Year's. So I have no idea how we've gotten here to another back to school, another school year, another fall, another impending holiday season. We are here again. It's amazing. I swear every year time speeds up a little more. And yeah, it's pretty fast now. So join in. Hop in the comments. Let me know where you're joining from. Let me know you're here. If you don't say hi to me or say anything in the comments or tell me where you're joining from, I don't even know that you're here. I kind of think I'm just talking to myself most of the time, which is okay. But these are better. These are better live events when people join and ask good questions. I mean, I can always find things to talk about. I have no shortage of opinions. And perspectives. And usually that's multiple perspectives about whatever topic. But again, I really am here to answer your questions. This is what I show up for. This is what I do. I know it's a terrible job market. I've been doing this. If there's anyone new joining who doesn't know who I am, I'm Lori Golden. I have over 28 years of recruiting and hiring and leading and recruiting in all kinds of job markets. Most of my experience and work has been done. Hey, Noman. Hey, Reggie. Most of my work has been done in the tech startup world, but I am sort of aged out of that world now. And I just posted about this morning. It's so ridiculous how we devalue people the more experience they get. It's backwards. Anyway, so now I'm doing consulting work, contract recruiting. I'm working on 3 different startups, and as well as doing a lot of pro bono coaching and helping job seekers in this market. It is hard. And that's why I show up every week to do this, because I think people simply just have a lot of questions. And this is a good place where they can answer them. Noman asked, am I hiring currently? I am in the US, in New York specifically for very specific types of roles. If you have consumer type experience, like a consumer brand, a food brand, multi-unit store experience, then I might have something interesting. I'm primarily hiring in, I have a couple accounting roles, a couple FP&A analyst roles, some marketing leadership, project management, a product manager role in the digital side, but like digital e-commerce type things. Yeah, so that's kind of the long and short of the kinds of roles that I'm working on now. Hi, Sydney, how are you? But just ask questions. Just throw some questions out. This is the place where you can ask anything about, not customer service, Noman, customer brand, consumer brand, like an accounting role for a consumer brand company, like Nike is a consumer brand company. So like, yeah, not customer service. I don't have any customer service roles specifically. So, but anyway, ask me some questions. This is a true place where you can ask anything. Ask me about resumes, ask me about, interviewing, ask me about, what's happening in the black box and the ATS with the AI, any of it. You can ask me anything. I'm always going to answer from a multiple perspective opinion. I'm going to share what I've seen. I'm going to share what the others I've spoken to have said. I'm also going to share like what I believe is also happening outside of that. So, yeah. So, yeah, Noman, I don't have customer service or sales roles right now. I have accounting, finance, marketing, within a consumer brand environment type experience. I have like a food safety and risk, like food safety and quality and risk type role. I also have so they're very specific to multi-unit retail or multi-unit um, food, restaurant, retail, that kind of thing, multi-unit. Tell us about ATS and interviews. Well, you got to be a little more specific than that because I could fill the next hour just rambling on about ATSs. First of all, let me tell you this. We've been using an ATS for all the years I've been recruiting, which is almost 30. So it's not new. ATS is not synonymous with AI. ATS can have some AI working in it, but most don't. And the ones that do, it's not good. So most of us ignore it, right? Some have ranking and sorting, and it's not great. But yeah, ATSs do have a lot of automation opportunities, but it has nothing to do with AI. We've been automating workflows for well over a decade now. Again, none of this has anything to do with outsourcing judgment to AI. Like that's not what's happening. And even companies that are using some AI in the hiring process, they're not outsourcing judgment to AI. There's always humans in the loop. Humans are making decisions. AI just supports the ability to do that at a greater scale, which is a real scenario, right? Maybe 7 years ago, I would post a role and I'd be lucky if I got 100 applicants for that role. Of that 100, very few were qualified. And those are the people we would call. Easy peasy breezy. Today, I could get 2,000 applicants in a couple days for one role. And of those couple thousand, maybe a couple hundred are qualified. Now, which ones do I call? So that's where AI helps us navigate the funnel math a little better. And again, not every company is using AI, and not every AI company is using AI in the screening process. Some are using it just to write job descriptions. Some are using it for comp research. Like there's a lot of ways to use AI, but um, normally the rants and raves online leave a lot of nuance out, right? Like, so you see posts and everyone's complaining about a thing, and then there's like missing nuance. Yeah. No, man, that's not what this call is for. I don't get on live for people to come talk to me about the jobs I'm hiring for and try and get them. Like I'll stop doing these if that's what this ends up being, because my point is to show up and take my time, and I spend money so I can do this for people to help you understand the hiring landscape better. I know, Noman, what a difficult market is, and that's why I'm doing this. Like I empathize and feel for especially early grads who are not having a very difficult time finding opportunities, and I'm happy to hop on a call and help you you know be able to put your best foot forward and be competitive in this market. But yeah, I the marketing roles are like director level marketing roles for people who are done marketing, right? I don't have any roles for people who don't have a specific set of experience. So, but no, man, that doesn't mean I can't help you. I absolutely can. All right, Jimmy. Jimmy asked, hold on. I also only place roles in the US. So like I'm thrilled to see all of you guys here, but I don't have any roles that I can hire anyone out of the country for. Not right now. I have worked in roles where I had we were remote first, and we had people in 13 different companies in 13 different countries. So I could do that, but I'm not in that boat right now. Okay. Right now I'm specifically recruiting for a company headquartered in New York for roles in New York where people come into the office 3 days a week in New York. Okay. So that's what I've got right now. Jimmy has said, hi, Lori, what skills are currently most in demand for startups or most consumer brands? Thank you. Totally. Well, that's two different things. So startups and consumer brands can be two different kinds of companies, but I would say the most important skills that are in demand right now are less about the harder technical skills, less about the specific work. Obviously, we need people who know how to do specific work in a specific field. But I'm going to tell you the most underrated, most important actual skills right now are soft skills, okay? The ability to adapt to change is probably the number one most critical character trait or attribute today in 2026. If you are not comfortable and a natural adapter, changing, you're going to struggle in this next chapter because we're going to face a whole lot of change everywhere, like everything, right? Starting with the hiring world, which is just a micro of the macro, right? Everyone is being asked to reinvent themselves. People, companies, brands, everything. Um, so kind of that's the most important thing. I'd say very close second to being highly adaptable would be being very self-aware, knowing how you add value, what value you add, and in what circumstances you're able to add that value. Like I add a tremendous amount of value in early stage companies or bigger companies that are in transition where there's chaos, there's new process that needs to be built and structure that needs to be built. That's where I'm best. I don't work well in a well-established machine with easily replaceable cogs in it. Like I don't do well in that environment. I'm not really a cog. I'm a builder. And the moment the building is done, I want to leave and go build something else. Okay. That's a self-awareness that is useful in me understanding how I add value, where I add value, and being able to articulate that. Okay. Um, Another important skill set, soft skill, is radical accountability. Like, how accountable are you for your outcomes? Even in your job search, right? There are things people can be doing to be um, more competitive in this market. For example, if you're not working, okay, and you've been out of work for a minute and you're struggling to get traction, what would stop you from taking a free Coursera course or a free course online to level up a skill? Like, what would prevent you from continuing to like be in a growth mindset? Growth mindset is another very useful soft skill, but it's hard for me to people say like, well, looking for work is a full-time job. You break, you take up, you're not doing that 24 hours a day. You stop, you watch Netflix, like cut it out. Like, stop. Really. You to tell me you can't, and then people are like, well, I don't have the money. There are literally free courses on the internet. If you're out of work, keep yourself, hey, Dylan, if you're out of work, like 50% of your time should be spent doing job search specific activities, but the other 50% of your working hours, the 40 to 50 hours a week that you have now that you didn't have before, right? Half that time should be spent doing job search activities and applying and reaching out and networking, but the other half should be about leveling your skills up. Go take a course, go learn an AI. Like, if you're out of work in HR, go take an AI class for HR. It's just there's so many ways to be doing things and keeping your skills fresh. Go volunteer for a nonprofit to do the same kind of work that you do in your job, but to do it for a nonprofit organization, to keep your skills sharp, to keep your mind healthy. Like, it's unhealthy to only be doing job search activity and nothing else. That's not healthy. In fact, it's such that you're going to, if you do get traction and the opportunity to interview, you probably aren't going to show up in your best energy space if you're not doing other things, right? So some people have a natural inclination to always be like leveling up, always be learning, always be offering, giving, supporting. It just is it's a healthier mindset. Okay. I'll give you one small example from my life many, many years ago, but I was struggling. I was in between jobs. I was out of work. So one thing you should know about recruiters, for all the bashing we get, we're always the first laid off. And like, even though now everybody's experiencing what that's like in this market, this has been our reality our whole careers. So I've been doing this almost 30 years. I've probably been laid off 12 times in my career, not because I'm done anything wrong, but because I come in, I help a hiring blast, and then the hiring slows, and then they don't need me anymore, right? So it makes sense. Recruiters are always kind of the first out. So we absolutely understand what things are like, right? We understand what this job market is like. But anyway, many years ago, I struggled. I was in between jobs, and I actually I had 3 kids in tow, okay? And I was struggling even with just being able to buy groceries, right? So some bread, some milk, simple things, because I was out of work. And so I reached out to somebody in my local community who was trying to start up a fresh food pantry. It's like a food bank, but instead of all cans and shelf stable foods, it was produce, it was milk, it was dairy, it was healthier whole foods in a food bank style environment. And we would set up like once or twice a week in a church, and we would give out fresh food to the local community to people who are food insecure. So I reached out to that nonprofit, and I needed help. I needed some food. So I asked for what I needed. And in turn, I went and I helped her start up that whole fresh food pantry. For like 3 years, I volunteered. I got up early on Saturday mornings. I went and dumpster diving at the big state food bank in Jersey City, New Jersey, to try and find the freshest produce and things to bring back for our community. So again, the nonsense that like when you're down, you have to stay down, that's a mindset and it's a choice, okay? I'm really tired of us acting like we don't have control in our circumstances. I promise you, after talking to thousands and thousands of people um, over the course of many, many years, there's a complete mindset is the differentiator, not circumstances. It's not about circumstances, it's about mindset. If you believe you can overcome, you can. If you believe you can't, you can't. And that's just as simple as that. Okay, so Dylan is saying, oh, first, hold on. Claude, find hope. Okay. Yeah, learning is really good. Um, Asan said, are there any remote opportunities related to AutoCAD draftsman? I have nothing architectural. Everything I'm hiring for is in the United States, in New York, and everything I'm doing right now is consumer brand specific food, multi-unit food place. I don't have anything else outside of that right now. Dylan said that's kind of backwards to be the recruiters should be used for in-house talent redistribution when companies need to downsize. I mean, maybe, Dylan, I don't know about that. There's not a lot of other places that, especially in the world I'm in, right? So, like, I'm in earlier stage companies. I help them get through hyperscale, and then the suits come in to button stuff up for an exit. Like, there's nowhere else to put me at that point, right? I don't want to be in that environment where the gravitas trumps, getting things done. Like, I like the culture of earlier stage. So, yeah, maybe Dylan, I agree that there's probably ways to repurpose recruiters in HR roles, although most of us don't really like it. We're not necessarily good at that part of HR. Recruiting and HR operations are very, 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 very different. HR operations is highly administrative, and we don't necessarily love that. At least not good recruiters. We really like the people part. We like the sales part. We like, that all. Um, I could also see that we could be pretty good in like customer success and things like that. But, it's not that easy, Dylan, to do unless you have a structure where people have a lot of extra bandwidth to help support recruiters coming into a totally new department, right? Sometimes companies don't move talent around internally, not because they don't want to, but because it wouldn't be fair to those people to be thrown into a new function and no one's available to help them or coach them, and there is no formal training. So it depends on the situation for sure. What else? I don't know, Noman, how much experience required for sponsorship visa job? If you're talking about sponsorship to come into the US, it's super hard right now. You know that there's been so many changes to our government immigration programming. Like, it's not a strategy. What is a strategy, Noman, if you're not here in the US, but you're in another country, is a lot of roles are going offshore, right? We have the most expensive job market and talent in the US. So a lot of companies are hiring roles offshore. Like part of our accounting team is offshore, right? We have FP&A analysts offshore. So you don't have to necessarily, get a sponsorship and move to the US to work for a US company. So yeah. Noman, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm here every week. So I do this every week, every Wednesday morning, usually around 8 a.m. And I'm live on both LinkedIn and YouTube at the same time. You can watch me from either. Please go follow me on YouTube. I never ask anyone to do that. As a result, I have like no followers on YouTube. But I think I want some, maybe. I don't know. So please go follow me on YouTube. I'd appreciate it. I wish more people followed me there, but I spend a lot more time on LinkedIn than on YouTube. So also in the upper left-hand corner, there's a QR code. It's a buy me a coffee. I am not looking to make money doing this. I am just simply looking to not lose money doing this. And I do pay for the StreamYard and the ability to, stream myself wherever. So if you appreciate what I do and you find value in it, feel free to throw me a coffee. I like coffee. Let's see. Dylan said, yeah, I get that. It's an exit strategy, but that's why I think the recruiters, because they know should the people's talent and cognition better. Yeah, totally. Dylan, you've got a great point. Like, yes, there should be more of that. I also would like to see recruiters be hired into like recruiting tech, all these recruiting tech companies, all these companies building AI and technology for sourcing, recruiting, screening, profiles, whatever. I would like to see those companies hiring recruiters to be their sales, their customer success, their product people. Who on earth knows this stuff and our lives in the weeds better than we do? We've got all these founders building tech in our space, and they've no idea what recruiting is really all about. There's so much nuance in recruiting because there's so much nuance with people, right? And recruiting is all about people, right? We have to sell the opportunity to the person, then we have to sell the person to the hiring manager. I mean, like, there's a whole lot of nuance in all of those kind of, areas. So yeah, Dylan, you're right. Recruiters could be good at a whole lot of other things for sure. And most of us just really like recruiting and are really good at that too. So would you like Seeds and JSON for designing art? I've been art and design stuff. I don't even know what that means. So I'm going to say no, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what that actually does. So you're welcome, Jimmy. Absolutely. Oh, good question. How can candidates make a strong first impression? That's really good. It's hard before a conversation. It's super hard to make a first impression when all you're submitting is a resume. I will say this though, in the application, I'm starting to see more and more like robust, almost interview style questions as part of the application. And I can explain why. That is because we're looking for more signals to figure out who we should talk to. Say, real quick, if you have 1,000 applicants, and of those 1,000 applicants, 200 are minimally qualified, I'm not calling 200 people for one job. That's ridiculous. So how do I determine which 200 people I should talk to? This is where, how you answer those questions in the application and those things, or write a cover letter or whatever else you do and add. This is where all those things are applied. We're looking for signals so that we don't waste time calling people we shouldn't. Okay. And we can spend more time calling people we should. Okay. There's lots of ways to do that. One thing I've been seeing a lot lately is people are setting up like their own little Netlify website, like their own little portfolio website. And then you add that in the application, you add it to that portfolio field or the website field. If they don't have that, you can also paste a link right in your resume. I like that. I like more context, more data points, more information about you, your background, your experience, what you like, what you want to do, all of that, right? That matters. So yeah, I would definitely say that's one thing. Roll.com is a really interesting company. I'm going to flash this across the bottom. Please do go check out roll.com. We're working on a two-sided alignment score with verified profiles so that before any applying and anything happens, you can know whether or not you do fit a role. You also can, it's a little more proactive, a little less reactive than waiting to be contacted. So that's something that's worth looking at. Also, Roll.com features jobs that aren't ghost jobs. So these are clean, verified jobs, verified on company career pages, no agency jobs, no third-party scrape jobs, and no ghost jobs. So check that out as well. I know that that's really helpful right now. What else? Thank you, Dylan. I appreciate it because I'm curious. I know JSON is some kind of technical thing. Obviously, I've placed engineers most of my career, but that doesn't mean I know what to do with it. A seed or a kernel or whatever else it is. I don't really know what to do with that. Also, there's so much low code, no code technology nowadays. I probably am not going to learn what to do with that anytime soon either. Dylan said, Lori, I think that's exactly the gap, and recruiters are one of the few positions besides owners that should know them all. Yeah. I mean, we do. We know all the roles that we work on. I don't have to. So the other thing too is I don't have to know how to do your job to know how to vet you for doing your job. I don't have to be an engineer to learn about what kind of engineer you are. Okay. It's a completely different skill set. In fact, if I was an engineer, I probably wouldn't be a great recruiter. It's just, there's very few people. I have met some interesting people over the years that shifted from engineering to tech recruiting. But I'm going to go with they probably came out of a client facing tech role, more of a solutions engineer type role or a pre-sales engineer type role. Very rarely are very deep engineers going to want to sit and talk to people all day long, at least not from my experience. I could be wrong. And of course, there's always outliers to any statement, right? But I don't live in the outliers. I don't debate the outliers, the edge cases. I like to talk about reality. So I try to avoid the extreme perspectives. I know that's pretty unique in 2026. It seems the world goes round based on extreme perspectives now. And I think that's probably one of the biggest flaws in humanity today. But here we are, nonetheless. It's an interesting time to be alive for sure. Ask me another question, somebody, or I'm going to hop off soon. What else you got? I can play the Jeopardy music, or I could try to think of something to talk about. Oh, man, let's see. I could keep going on the how to make a first impression. So beyond a website, a portfolio or whatever, you could do a short cover letter. I mean, I know a lot of people don't read cover letters, but if you do something pretty short and really authentic, I think anything anyone does that's really authentic can work, right? If you're trying to do, so I'll give you an example. I've seen some creative folks, get their a QR code of their resume or their portfolio printed on cupcakes or cookies and send them to a company. That's super unique and fun, and I guarantee somebody scanned it and looked at their resume. But if you try and copy doing that, it won't work because it's not you. It's it has to, those types of really authentic, out of the box like attention grabbers have to be unique. They have to be authentic, and they basically have to come from you to pull it off. Here's a much different example of a similar scenario. So everyone says thank you notes. You should send thank you notes. You should send thank you notes after an interview. My opinion is if you're the kind of person who just sends thank you notes in general, yes, you should send a thank you note. If that's not like your thing, you don't send thank you notes. When you receive gifts, do you send a thank you note? When like when people go out of your way to help you, do you send a thank you note? If no, then don't do it for, the job. I mean, the one thing I do like about thank you notes after an interview isn't the thank you note itself. Like I'll never be the recruiter who's like, they didn't send a thank you note, so I'm rejecting them. That's literally ridiculous. But what I can say is it gives you an excuse to reach out after the interview, reiterate your interest, remind them that like that's a positive, okay? That's a good opportunity, and it's easy. It's easy to send 3 lines reiterating your interest and like that you're excited about, to be considered in whatever the next step is. And in this day and age, effort has a low bar attached to it. People are generally opposed to putting in a lot of effort, which makes sense if you're sending out hundreds and thousands of applications. That's why I also don't recommend doing that. I recommend everybody having a very targeted search, right? If you coach with me, I'll help you narrow to like a 25 to 30 company target list and specifically go after those companies. Do all the things, all the thank you notes, all the networking, reach out to people in the company. All that effort is fine if it's for your target company and you have a very clear way to articulate why that is in your target company. You like the mission, you like the product, you use the product, you whatever, but it's real versus the reason people are struggling with like, well, what's interesting to you about this role? And they're like, well, duh, I have to pay bills, so I need money. That mindset is a result of applying for everything. Okay. It's like, I can't be bothered to care about any particular one company or role or application if I'm applying to hundreds/thousands. But if I have a target list of 25, 30 companies and I'm only going after everything in those companies, then I'm much more likely to be able to answer, why do you want to work here? I'm much more connected to why those companies are on my target list to begin with. I hope that makes sense, but I am absolutely seeing that making a difference right now. Dylan said, you're good. Mine is easy. I made it super simple for people. You just prompt the art you want design and then tell them. Can I ask a question, Dylan? All the horrible things all the redundant work out here that people don't like doing and aren't great at, why AI for art? Humans have been making beautiful art, beautiful music, beautiful creation, fed by real passion, real emotion for hundreds, thousands of years. Why is that? And I don't know that I agree that AI should be used for art. Yeah, I think we should be using AI for the things that humans aren't as good at, right? AI art's never going to be better than the art that comes from real human pain. AI can't create from that space of passion and pain. That's what makes art so beautiful. That's what makes music so beautiful, is the pain and the passion that comes through the art. AI can't do that. So I'm going to go with no, Dylan. I'm not interested, but thank you. I appreciate it. What I would like to do is have AI come do my laundry so that I can freed up to make art. Like that would be awesome. Yeah. Anyway, what else? 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 if no one has more questions, I'll probably hop off in a minute, but I want to thank everyone for joining. Also, again, please don't forget to go follow me on YouTube. I really appreciate it. I'm out there as the Rebel HR. Also, don't forget to check out roll.com. It's worth checking out. Also, if you like the profile idea, join the wait list. If you feel that this is valuable and you appreciate me and want me to keep showing up week after week, feel free to buy me a coffee. QR code in the top left-hand corner. One more thing, please. I also have let's see. I also have a QR code for my community. I have an online community to help job seekers. I actually haven't been active in it lately because but nobody else was active. I kept offering things and no one would respond and no one would take me up on it. And I didn't know what to keep doing with that. So, yeah. So I haven't been very active, but like I'm here and literally the way you show up here and ask me questions, you can show up in my school community, which I also pay for, and you can ask me questions there. Okay. There are also other recruiters in the community and job seekers. Okay. It's a place to go where you can get good guidance from different kinds of people without all the nonsense on LinkedIn. So go ahead and check that out. The QR code is right there in the top left corner. And let's see, I have one more comment. A studio engineer, not the musician. Oh, I got it. Okay. Oh, I understood. Yeah, cool. Got it. Oh, I see. All right. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. I think it's a philosophical conversation, but it's interesting. Hey, I don't poo-poo anybody doing anything that is in the land of adapting right now and trying to shift to different ways of earning money, different income streams, different revenue streams. I 100% think people should have more than one thing. If you're putting all your eggs in the basket of one single job, then you're putting yourself at risk. We'd never put all our money in one place. We all have portfolios. Well, if you have money, but same thing with your time, right? If you're investing all your work time into one job, you're not hedging against layoff at all. And you have nothing to fall on if you do get laid off. So in this day and age, loyalty and long-term commitment isn't the thing. We live in a short-term, short-game transactional world. So we should all have portfolio careers. That's all. And I know companies don't like it and they don't want to hire people who are split focused. Well, then stop laying people off in large swaths and then people will stop hedging their bet with you. That's all. I mean, simple, like truly simple concept. So anywho, I really appreciate you're welcome, Dylan. And I really appreciate you all showing up. Like I said, go follow me on YouTube. Go join the school community. QR codes in the top corner. And yeah. And I will see you next week, next Wednesday, same time, same place. I will be here and I will see you then. Have a wonderful rest of your week.